everybody. Welcome to episode 18 of Hippie Not Hippie.
Yeah.
We haven't been in the studio together for the last few weeks because I've been out on tour.
Yeah, you've been gone for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I've been out on tour with this guy sitting in between AJ and I.
Yeah.
Old Bret Hiker.
Bret Hiker. Or Bret Hiker. That was a fun thing because I call him Bert, and literally every person that met him on the tour thought they were calling him by the wrong name at one point. It's like, oh shit, I've been fucking his name up. No, he responds to both, just like Shrek responds to Shrek and Hungy Boy. So, no, we've been out traveling the country for the last few weeks, and he's got a day before he heads back to Brooklyn. So, wanted to get him on, tell some stories.
Yeah.
Maybe from these stories deduce whether or not Bret Hiker
is hippie
or not hippie.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say an alcoholic. And I was like, oh, this podcast sucks.
Yeah.
This is not a podcast. This is an intervention.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. It can be an intervention too. I don't know. We're all over the place at Hippie Not Hippie, so it's always a good time. But
I was thinking this morning, just like, how many beers do I think I drank over the course of a 3-week tour? And it's like, it had to be over 200.
well, I counted how many you drank in the car.
And that was like 130, so
Yeah, people were like, "You drove the whole way," and I was like, "Yes." We were like, "Why didn't Hiker drive?" I was like, "He's busy drinking."
Yeah. He had to get his funny juice in.
Before we get in, I don't know, stuff coming up. What do you got going on this week, AJ?
I'm in Lone Tree on the 24th, and then I'm going to be at the Parker Arts Center on the 25th with Mitch Jones.
Oh, yeah. Go to zachmoss.com. I have a shitload of shows coming up the next few weeks, but the main thing I want to talk about is I will be headlining Comedy Works on June 8th. AJ will be there. Come fucking hang. Get tickets now. I will be promoting the show every week until it happens.
Yeah.
Fucking get out there. And then, Bert, what do you got coming up this week?
I am at QED in Astoria, which is the cool indie club in Astoria on Wednesday night. And then on Thursday, I'm on Law & Order SVU.
Yeah.
And then Friday, I've got nothing.
Open availability if anyone's got something on
Yeah,
Friday.
it's crazy. Like, on Thursday, you're rapist number 3, and on Friday,
You're just napping.
you just have the day off.
I'm rapist number 1 on Friday.
Oh, God. But, man, I haven't seen AJ in a few weeks, man. What's been going on?
Dude, it's been wild. We've had pretty good times. One, got all the notes turned in for my album. So my third album is now in processing. Super stoked about that. Sunday, Marciana and I were up in Estes Park for Frozen Dead Guy Days.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You ever been up to that?
I have not, man. I like my dead guys warm.
No.
I like them fresh. Yeah.
I've been to Netherlands and seen decorations from Frozen Dead Guy Days in storage. Does that count?
It's close. That's where it
Yeah.
used to happen.
Yeah.
I think that's where Grandpa still is.
Yeah, what's the backstory that you know of Frozen Dead Guy Days?
So I'm going to forget where he's from. He was Dutch or something like that, I believe. And the guy died on the mountain and somehow got grandfathered in. So then basically he was then put into a tough shed,
Cryogenic.
thank you, frozen. And then basically someone was paid for a long time to take care of it, make sure that the body didn't thaw out. I'm not sure on the stipulations why, but the body is still in Netherlands. And so that's why the festivals took place there.
I'd always heard it was like a crazy guy who was trying to find a cure for death, and he was just keeping a body on ice. And the cops technically couldn't, do anything about it because it was, as long as it keeps it frozen, it's not it's sanitary or whatever.
Yeah, so basically at that point, you're acting as a mortuary. So when we were in New Orleans,
which is a vastly different climate.
yeah, when we were in New Orleans, we stumbled our way into some crawfish boil at this place where it was the best meal that we had the whole fucking trip. These crawfish were some of them were almost a foot long.
Oh, they're almost like baby lobsters.
They were baby lobsters, and we got a huge heap, and we got enough for us to both eat till we were full for $20.
Did you suck the heads?
Oh,
Did you get the juice out?
Oh, yeah. Suck the juice. I've eaten crawfish before.
Yeah.
I've never been able to get
The juice?
meat out of the claws.
Oh, wow.
These were so big that they had claw meat.
Wow.
Yeah, so we
Claw
were
meat
there.
boil.
We were there sucking heads, and the bartender had this really tiny, cute dog that.
I thought you were going to say head.
Well, yeah, she carried this tiny dog around
She
in
had
a
a cute
sack
head.
around her waist. Yeah. So while she was bartending, there's just a tiny dog like
A
this.
tiny dog.
Yeah, like the size of a russet potato.
Yeah. But it was
It's
also
like a teacup something?
It was also a puppy too, so it was
Okay.
like it was going to grow a little bit bigger.
But man, it was a tiny, tiny little dog.
Do you know what type of dog?
Some sort of
It was a good dog.
Okay.
the best dog. But so we gonna become friends and let on that we're from Colorado, and they go, oh, there's this fucking crazy lady from Colorado that comes in here all the time, claims she invented frozen dead guy days.
Wow, this is wild.
Yeah. And we're like, oh, well, that's cool. They're like, do you know, like, they were like kind of grilling us, like, do you know if this chick's telling the fucking truth? And they're like, yeah, you know, we don't know a whole lot about it. And we were sucking heads, and she walked in.
Oh, yeah, synchronicities.
And then they didn't even tell them. Somehow she just established, like, she came in and I don't know. I'm not going to lie. She seems like she could be the mayor of a crazy mountain town.
Yeah?
Yeah, she does.
She definitely has mayor of a crazy mountain town vibes. But
Not a sane mountain town.
No.
No.
but,
But Netherlands crazy, so.
Yeah.
but we were in New Orleans drunk, you know. I fell through a shower door later that night.
Oh, yeah.
That was that night, wasn't it?
I just remember that. I remember you called, or I called and we were talking, and you're like, a door just exploded. And I was like, what? And he goes, I was pooping and a door just, I'll send you a picture. And I was like,
He was still in denial of falling through.
so you were to blame.
Yeah. If you want some backstory, so Zach and I drank all the alcohol in New Orleans, and then we had them call Mississippi and ship in more. And yeah, we went back to our very nice hotel room. I got back about 4 a.m. Like, we stayed out and got food and whatnot. And then at 6 a.m. I just woke up to the loudest sound of glass shattering. And our shower had like really thick, nice glass doors, like 3/4 of an inch thick.
I think they were over an inch.
Maybe they were not easy
These
to
were
break.
thick
There's
doors.
a good 4 inches of shattered glass in the tub.
Oh, I saw the photo. I'll have to post that when this episode
Oh my
comes
god!
out.
Yeah. And then I walk into the bathroom and Zach. Man, here's the thing: is my memories of the first few minutes are also fuzzy. Zach is completely blacked out, and Zach comes to a little bit later. But yeah, Zach's just sitting there. But I was, what happened? He's like, I don't know.
That's right.
And I was like, did you fall through the shower door? And then like he gets up and he walks back into the main room. What?
Well, I was gonna say so what I can gather from the footage, because there is some footage of this.
Yeah.
Bret is like, Zach, what the fuck is going on? And he goes into the bathroom and he's looking at the damage. And why this happens, I go out and crawl into his bed and go back to sleep.
You're crawling to my bed.
And I'm bleeding.
I didn't realize at the time, but I yelled at him. I was like, get the fuck out of my bed. And like he won't move at first. And I'm like, get the fuck out of my bed. And then he gets out and he goes into his bed, and then I see there's blood everywhere in my bed. And I was like, dude, you're bleeding. And it wasn't like he didn't need stitches or anything. But yeah, he was the back of his hand was cut in a few spots. And then he crawls into his bed, and then I'm like, dude, you're bleeding. Go fucking clean the blood off. And then he's like, no, I'm not bleeding. And I was like, dude, why are you arguing with this? You're bleeding. Like, I'm not bleeding. And I was like, you're fucking definitely bleeding.
And you're like, you fell through a goddamn shower door. And I'm like, I don't think that's true. I didn't. Sure, this isn't. I feel like I'm not in on something here. Like, like you're pranking me.
You went and washed one round of blood off, and then you came back, and that's when I started this video that we can totally post of him. Like, yeah, I'm like, all right, Zach, what do you think happened here? And he's just like, I don't know. And then he's like, I feel like be like, you're in on this. I'm definitely not in on it. And then I should do it. I should just before the video, like when he comes back from washing his hands, he sees blood in both beds. And he's like, "There's blood in your bed too. Maybe you did it."
I love that. None of this was brought up when I was talking to you on the phone. You just kept going. The door exploded, and I was like, "What do you mean it exploded?" He goes, "I did research online. This just happens."
Yeah, no, I did the next day because I was like, "How am I going to get out of this?" Because this is a very nice hotel, and that's a very expensive door that I destroyed. So, yeah, Then Bert goes back and he's like, "No, dude, it was you. You fell." And he walks to like film the glass again, and I fall out of my bed. And he comes around the corner, and I'm like laying on the floor because I fell out of my bed.
While he's
again.
Maintaining he didn't fall through the glass shower.
He falls again.
Out of and I have video of this. We can totally post this.
So then we go to bed for 6 hours or so.
Yeah.
I get up around 1.
That's what I called.
Yeah, and then
at 1 we're slightly less drunk.
Yeah, and then I talked to Jake Brown, because he's
Esquire.
He's kind of he's my lawyer. If you need to lie, he's got good advice. But so he's like, you got to go on the offensive, dude. He's like, request the maintenance records. And so
hand me the records with my bloody hands.
So
what happened to your hand? I was trying to clean it up.
So, dude, I cleaned myself up, put on my best gay shirt. We'll get to that later.
Business Zach.
Oh yeah, I forgot you would you'd jump the fence once you got down south.
Yeah. No, we'll backtrack a city to Memphis, and this will all make sense.
Oh, Paisley boy.
But yeah, I throw on my Paisley, tuck it in. Fucking put on my best shoes.
Put his hair in a ponytail.
Pull my hair, stick my hair back in a ponytail, and I'm.
And I have footage of Business Zach too, and it's way better than him falling out of bed.
Somehow Business Zach is funnier than.
I got video of him walking to go talk to the manager, just doing power walking down the hallway.
All right, we're gonna pause right now and cut that video. And
Yeah.
Is it easy to pull up?
What video?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's easy to pull up.
Well, yeah, because I want to.
It's only like 4 seconds.
We'll post the video, and then because I feel like
of Business Zach.
Business Zach.
Oh my God, this is like the start of a movie.
That's all he got a Business Zach.
He's literally just like, I'm about to do some shit. Some bad shit.
So I head down to the lobby.
You had a strut that was like, I know the law.
Yeah, no. Well, I had to be confident, man. I'm a...
Hands on back hips. I know the law.
Yeah.
Let me tuck my dick in, pull my hair back.
Yeah.
But he makes me come with him too, and I was like, dude, I'm still like in no shape to talk to an authority figure.
Yeah. No, and I'm like, I don't need you to talk. I need you to just look tough and stand behind me.
Say nothing.
I was like, I'm your hype man. So I put on my business attire, which is classic hype man. I'm just like Flava Flav, like a Viking helmet and a big clock.
You know what time it is? Yeah. It's Bert time.
Every time Zach's like your shower door exploded, I'm like, oh shit. Wah, 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 wah.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. But, you know about doors.
But yeah, so fucking, I go down there and I'm immediately like, I need to see a manager immediately. And I'm like acting a little pissed.
Yeah.
And they're like,
but inside you're scared.
No, I wasn't at that point. I was still pretty drunk. Still, yeah, I had the courage juice in me.
Scared, no. Smooth, also no.
I need to talk to the manager now.
So, anyways, the manager comes out, and I'm just like, I shut in your shower door and it exploded all over and cut my fucking hand. I need to see the maintenance records for the last year on this thing. When were they installed? And he's like, 3 months ago. And I'm like, how many have exploded since then? And he's like, none. And I'm like, I need to see the records. My lawyer told me I need to get the records. And he's like, are you getting your lawyer involved? And I looked him right in the eye and I was like, I'm not necessarily a litigious person, but...
What the fuck?
What are you...
He did say litigious.
You went in with a script.
Yeah.
That sounds... Also, I just want to say, litigious sounds very Southern. If you were like, now, I am not a litigious man, but I will not stand for doors exploding.
Right. It sounds like you made your fortune suing hotel rooms for broken shower doors.
Yeah, but I was like,
if you want chicken in this town, I suggest you.
but I go, I'm not necessarily a litigious person, but what are you going to do to make this right?
Dude, and there's no
10
way.
minutes later, and then he goes, well, I'll upgrade you guys to a suite right now.
Jesus Christ, you got to upgrade it
So
from
he
Motley Crue in a hotel room.
So he upgrades us to a suite, and then he goes, do you guys drink?
Well, we're thinking about starting.
I said, I enjoy a little eggnog around Christmas time.
Yeah, I said, I look this guy dead in the face, and I go, a little.
And at this point, you got to go. We can't break this door, or he'll know.
Oh, and we were, dude. We must have reeked like alcohol. We couldn't shower because the shower was full of glass.
Oh God!
So both business Zach and business Bret were just oozing alcohol out of our pores.
Yeah. So then they give us the keys to our new room, and we go to move, and I'm literally like, oh my God, I can't believe we pulled this off.
Yeah, dude. The stars aligned for that one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so then we had our suite, and then, believe it or not, that night, I didn't drink, because I was like, man, I can't, if I fall through 2 shower doors in this hotel.
Jeez, it's also like, as difficult as it is to fall through a door in a shower,
Yeah.
a window would be way easier.
Oh, yeah, and death,
Yeah.
I don't know,
Oh.
so...
Later on, I posted a picture of him mooning all of Atlanta out of our 17-story hotel window, and Jake
that's
just
great.
comments, "Get him away from the glass."
This is your lawyer. One J. Brown.
But yeah, man, fucking it was a wild time. And yeah, so first day of the tour, we drive 10 and a half hours to Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yeah, Tulsa town.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Tulsa has a large swinging population, like swingers. Did you know that?
Is that why we fucked that couple?
Dude, I'm. You know how many times I've
wonder what their deal
tried
is.
to get brought back after a show because of that?
Really?
Also, have you ever paid attention to what Tulsa says backwards?
A slut?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Wow, so is it a secret slut town back in the day?
I don't know.
Wow, man. Well, yeah, I couldn't even Tulsa. I think I called Tulsa Tucson the whole time I was there.
That's why they weren't trying to bring you
went
back.
up to the door. I'm like, "Hey, Tucson. Tulsa. How we doing tonight?" But
Hey, Tucson, Tulsa town.
yeah, we went and did the open mic, and we fucking raged hard in Tulsa.
Wait, were you at the?
Well, we did a brewery show, and then we went and did the open mic. But I think my favorite thing about Tulsa is that you can buy 4 tacos, beans, and rice for $5 from a Mexican food cart.
Wow. Okay.
Took me back, man. Took me back, like to the good old days.
Yeah. Did you do the club mic?
No.
No, we did like a late night mic at some dive bar.
Okay.
Yeah, it was kind of like a goth bar, I want to say.
Yeah.
They showed a lot of movies and stuff, and
That's a movie theater.
Maybe a horror bar.
Oh.
Not a slut bar, but
Not a slut bar? There's a lot of kink stuff happening in the basement.
Yeah, so Tulsa was fun. We were staying in this Airbnb that had like all these things set up for Instagram photos.
They have wooden doors on the shower so that you were safe.
That one had a glass door, too.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, it was precarious getting in there. I'm glad I didn't fall through that one.
Like-
Because you blacked out that night, too.
I like the idea that Zach's looking at that door going, I don't know what this means, but it seems like foreshadowing.
Yeah, no, that was I'm not gonna lie. I don't like things that are breakable when I'm a drinking.
Well, see, I haven't actually seen this, but supposedly Zach looked it up, and glass shower doors do shatter randomly on occasion.
Yeah.
Between 3 and 6 a.m. typically. I don't know why. And I mean, I believe in Occam's razor. I think the more likely answer is Zach fell through the door, but I love the idea that he was just blackout drunk taking a shit, and the door just shattered randomly.
Dude, that's-
and he was left to explain it.
What? So the door, I took a shower in that hotel, and the door, when you would close it, it would start just rolling back on its own. So the door was a little fucked up beforehand. And what my guess is...
that was the door trying to run from what it knew you were going to do to it. You were eyeballing it weird.
Plus, on the road, I like to sometimes, I'm a bidet man and I don't have them on the road. So sometimes when I take a little shitty, I like to hop in the shower and do a little splish splash.
Yeah. And by sometimes he means every single time he takes a shit.
Yeah.
And, maybe I was getting in to do a little splish splash. The door wasn't closing. Drunk Zach got mad, closed it a little hard.
Oh.
You were fully clothed, as I recall.
But he also had shit in his shorts, it sounds like.
When
he was in your bed.
I didn't, because that was something I was worried about, was that maybe I had shit in my pants. Here's the other thing that I do, though, is I have to piss at night a lot, because I have a prostate.
Yeah.
That's not the friendliest. And it's angry. It's an angry prostate. And so I have to piss in the night. And I've been doing this thing where at home, I will try to go to the bathroom and piss with my eyes closed so that
seems dangerous.
The light doesn't wake you up?
So that the light doesn't wake me up. And part of me thinks that maybe that's what I was doing, and while I was standing there pissing, I maybe just fell asleep and kind of...
So you sleep piss, kind of.
Yeah, I mean... If anyone from the hotel is listening, I'll still sue the shit out of you because no one really knows what the fuck happened, and your shower door definitely exploded and cut my hand. So, and we have photo evidence of that.
I also have a theory of what he was doing, which is that in Louisiana, porn is illegal if you're under 21. So you got to prove you're over 21. You got to make an account on porn sites if you want to watch porn.
Well, yeah, I was trying to jerk in Louisiana, and they were like, "You got to make a site," and I was like, they wanted my ID and stuff, and I mean, I was on tour. I didn't have a driver's license on me.
No one wants to register before they watch whatever weird porn.
Yeah, you're like, I'm also not going to give you my information because I know what I'm going to watch.
I started trying to register, and it was too complicated, and I needed my driver's license, and I literally was touring with my passport because I lost my driver's license before we left, so... I was trying and I couldn't figure it out, and I was like, fuck this. And I just Googled chicks in bikinis.
I'm going to say, up until the chicks in bikinis thing, all of the frustration sounds like I know how the door got broke. Like there's just a moment where you look, you see your reflection in the glass, you're like, fuck!
I just figured he was scrolling and just found like a really hot chick with a bikini.
But yeah, so that was our second night in New Orleans.
So Tulsa was mildly uneventful as far as accidents. Then you got to
nothing happened in Tulsa. We just got too drunk and took a lot of mushrooms that night too.
Oh
didn't
my
we?
God, yeah.
Yeah, we were tripping balls in Tulsa.
Yeah, that's a good place.
And then the next morning I got up and I was like, I'm gonna drink some mushroom tea before we head out. And then kind of a trippy ride to Memphis.
I remember Zach and I drove back from Minnesota one time.
He told me the story a couple times on this tour.
Dude, and he's microdosing to stay awake, and then at one point the music is so loud, I wake up and I was like, what the fuck is going on, Zach? And he goes, I don't know, I was just microdosing and I just realized I'm watching the road, I got the music up and I realized that the road was just going toot, 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 and I was like, all right, pull over. At no point should the road be going toot, 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 toot.
Yeah, I go, the road's going toot, 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 toot. And that semi just drove inside of that other semi. he's like, pull over now. Well, yeah. Why the music was so loud is because I had to do a dance that I'd been doing for about 4 hours, so I wouldn't fall asleep. Called now I'm looking forward. Now I'm looking left. Now I'm looking right. Now I'm looking forward. Now I'm shaking, dancing forward, left, right, forward. I'd been doing that for like 4 hours. Right? That was to pull off a grand romantic gesture when Megan and I were first dating. Her band had her first show the next day in Boulder. We got out of the club at 11:30, and I was like, if we drive straight through the night,
Minnesota,
13 and a half hours, I'll get to her show. This grand romantic gesture, and I got there, and she didn't give a fuck.
I remember, like, when we got in the car, I was like, this is going to suck, but... What an amazing gesture.
She always gives me shit that I'm not very romantic, and I'm like, I tried, all right?
We nearly died. Do you know what it's like to battle the road when it's going...
Yeah. I watched a semi drive inside of another semi to make it to the show, all right? You know what that does to a man's brain?
I didn't even break a hotel door.
So... Then we get into Memphis, and we meet Mo Alexander at... what was that barbecue place called?
No idea.
Meet him at this barbecue spot. We have some barbecue, hang out with Mo, and then...
So it went Tulsa, New Orleans?
No,
Tulsa,
Memphis. We skipped ahead there, but there's just too good of a lead-in for the shower door story. But yeah. So then we get to Memphis. We're staying at a New York comic. Well, he's not a New York guy anymore, is he?
No, he's back in Memphis, of course. Charlie Vergos.
Crash at his place, but and that was we really did it up in Tulsa. Like we went, like I think we had one beer in Memphis that night, out and about, or maybe two. But
yeah,
we we go to downtown Memphis, and there's a torrential downpour. There's like flash flood warnings, and basically the only person at the show is like Memphis's Dave Caldwell.
Oh wow,
super fan.
Yeah, just a super fan, and
Gina, right?
Gina, yeah.
Gina Caldwell.
Yeah. So she's there, and she's like, I don't give a shit. Do the show, and like we're like, well, fuck it, we're here, and I need to perform in Tennessee. So we do the show, and some people come down and kind of fill it in and make it more of a show, and then a few guys.
But it's still just a show for Gina at its heart.
Yeah, it's just a show for Gina, and I'm up there.
So it's in the basement of a brewery?
No bar.
Okay.
It's a great showroom, and it would have been good. I think it literally just got, there when it rains that hard. I think it's like here when there's a fucking blizzard. Like
no one's
like,
going
fuck
anywhere.
It, But the people that are there were hardcore, so it ended up being kind of a fun show. And I start going into a bit where I'm like, yeah, my girlfriend and I, we made it through the pandemic together. And Gina just goes, girlfriend? I thought Chels was gay.
Oh, wait, so Gina Caldwell starts calling you gay?
Yeah. Well, and she's bi, I think, because they're So, based on her interactions with the comic before us and the and talking about her boyfriend and her handyman at home, I think Gina fucks. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, Gina's like,
she's just assuming that you guys are gay because the two of you are on the road together?
No, not. She thinks me.
Oh, Brett's fine.
She goes, I thought you was gay. And uses, I guess, a Memphis term
uses gay?
Yeah. I mean, I have the video of this that will be posted as a reel as well. But yeah, and I'm like, why? And she goes, because your shirt's all gay.
The shirt is gay?
I was wearing a paisley. She goes, because your shirt's all gay. And I'm like, well, you can still be gay and have style.
Be straight.
Or yeah, you can still be straight and have style. And she goes, yeah. But you stand all gay too.
Oh my god!
Because my classic patented pregnant lady stance.
Yeah.
If you guys are wondering, I've got a picture of Business Zach doing this stance.
Business Zach in full form.
So, anyways, yeah, I'm like, what the fuck? And then all of a sudden, the comic that opened for us, she starts yelling from the Mary Beth. Was that her name? I think.
I don't recall.
But she starts yelling from the back of the room. She's like, "Tell her where you're from. Tell her where you're from."
What? So this is happening while you're on stage?
Yeah, this is part of the show.
Oh my god!
So she's like, "Tell her where you're from." And I'm like, "Well, I'm from Denver, but I'm originally from South Dakota." And she goes, "Oh, does everybody in South Dakota wear gay shirts?"
Oh my god!
And I'm just so confused at this point, And so we like. I get off stage and I go talk to this other comic and I'm like, why did you start yelling, tell her where you're from? Tell her where you're from. And she's like, oh, because you guys are from the big city, from Denver, where everybody dresses nice.
She thought she had an out for you?
Yeah, that I could be like, I'm from the big city of Denver, you fucking hick. This is how we dress in the big city. And I was like thinking about how much better Memphis probably dresses than Denver.
If you guys are just listening at home and you're not watching the video, AJ is wearing a top hat and a monocle.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone.
A tuxedo with a tail,
Who wants peanuts?
Standard Denver wear.
Yeah, no, he's wearing a flannel and a t-shirt with a Yellowstone cap. Bert has just a fucking long underwear shirt on with a stain and a bunch of crumbs on it, and I'm wearing a hoodie without a shirt underneath.
Oh god!
Fancy.
Denver.
Yeah.
Fancy town. Yeah, you got pajama pants on and you're wearing a onesie.
Yeah, more or less. So the thing that happened between being called gay in Memphis and you breaking the shower door in New Orleans was our show in Mississippi.
Oh my God. By the way,
not great.
Fun game for our listeners. If you're ever driving through Mississippi, count how many cars are broken down on the side of the highway.
Really?
Yeah, we counted 29.
Are you serious?
They don't have mile markers. They just spray paint the back of broken down cars.
1, 2. Where's the 3rd mile marker? He got it fixed.
But yeah, I was just blown away by how many cars were broken down on the side of the road. Yeah, we go to New Orleans, then we have to. And the show in New Orleans, where was that at? Was that at the Howlin' Wolf? Or no, that one was at Dragon's Den.
Oh, Howlin'. I like Howlin' Wolf.
Dragon's Den fucking ripped. That was a good show.
It was.
And I had fun with the comics and then went out and got drunk. But then the next day, we had to go to Mississippi.
Ocean Springs, Mississippi.
Yeah, where we stayed with a comic and promoter out there named Krangus.
What?
Krangus Gillespie.
I just. I know it's offensive to hear me laugh, but Krangus is a fucked up name.
You know what's fucked up? His real name is Chris, and we got there, and Bert was like, Chris? And he goes, God damn it, what the fuck? That's so weird. My name's Krangus.
No one's called me that in years.
So Krangus is a cool dude. We had fun.
Did he tell you how that name came about?
No, we never asked.
Okay.
I always just assumed it was his last name.
No.
But then it was Gillespie.
Gillespie.
Maybe Steve knows.
Steve will know.
Yeah.
Steve, do you know your brother?
Well, yeah, he was in the military too, so maybe it was a military
that would make
nickname.
sense. Yeah.
Because, we'll get to that here in a bit. But so he's awesome. We hang out at the house. We're smoking weed. He's got a bearded dragon that's basically like a dog.
Okay.
Just pulls this lizard out, throws it on my lap. He's hanging out there. I'm petting the lizard,
I had
It's
one of
pretty
those.
Cool.
Very docile.
Yeah, no, I liked him. He was a nice little lizard. He kind of changed my opinion on lizards. I don't think people that have lizards are as strange if they have that kind. If they have other kinds. But we did sleep in multiple houses with pet lizards on this trip.
Did he get the lizard to, did the beard flare? Did he do this at all?
Yeah.
Did he get the head bobbing or the arm swing?
I never saw the beard flare.
Well, he was telling me what that means. What's the head bob? Does that mean like...
The head bob is like, sometimes it's like, hey. Like, sometimes they'll do it if they see another one, and it's like a weird thing. But they'll also do this weird shaky wave.
Yeah, and isn't that like a aggressive thing? Or
well,
like
the big aggression is when the beard flares out, and that's kind of wild looking.
No, I didn't get to see the beard flare out, but I petted him quite a bit. He was a nice little boy.
Yeah.
He was a little dog lizard.
Krangus.
Krangus's lizard. So
it sounds like a guy that would be selling lizards on the black market. Come on down. You want a lizard? You want a snake? I got tortoises.
well, Brett
Don't go to the other guy. Go to Krangus.
Don't go to the other guy.
Brett
That guy puts them in cardboard boxes. I got Tupperware.
Brett has this classic story about the neighbors when he first moved into New York that sold every drug and lizards.
I don't know why, but that just seems to make sense.
Yeah, I miss them. They moved out.
We go to the show at the Juke Joint in Mississippi.
Classic name.
And they don't normally do shows there on Sunday. And
Lord's Day.
And and the plan is Krangus is going to do 10 up front.
Krangus is a comic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Krangus is going to do 10 up front, and then Bert and I are each going to do 40.
Okay.
And this place is fucking insane.
All right. When you say insane, what do you mean? They're varying
Meaning
degrees.
it's full of people that are not there for comedy.
Oh, no. You're going to have to fight for attention.
Oh, my God.
And there's a group of 10 people that comes and sits right in the front of the show that have just gotten back from a birthday party where they got the person whose actual birthday was so drunk that they started puking and had to go home. But they were still hanging. So they came out to sit in the front row of our comedy show and then proceed to
Ruin
intentionally. This one woman was intentionally.
Yeah.
I watched you have a stroke just thinking about it again.
9 of them were just too drunk to enjoy the show.
Yeah.
But one.
One was well aware of what she was doing and intentionally did it. And at one point I was like, man, I came all the way here from Denver and I thought the South was all about, manners and hospitality and respect. And she goes, manners ain't hospitality or something.
What?
Like respect ain't hospitality or whatever. And I was like, all right, fucking. Then I just came to the conclusion that she was someone whose dad paid for everything and started hammering on that. And
nailed it.
Yeah, and nailed it. And then, yeah, we did our time.
Oh, that's the best.
And we also had so much fun. But, okay, yeah, during my set, I start actually getting the people that fucking suck in front of me that are in the showroom. And then a guy walks into the bar, sees I'm doing comedy. He hasn't even been there. He just starts screaming, "Turn this shit off so we can put on the fucking jukebox."
Oh, my God, that's...
He's like, "Fuck this guy. I want to listen to the jukebox." And Krangus, who's a really respectful,
Krangus on stage?
nice
This
guy.
is when you're
No,
on.
I'm on.
This is when Zach's
Krangus
on.
is off stage, and Krangus has been trying to talk to people and help with the room and everything. You know, seemed like a good promoter, and I really liked Krangus. But yeah, he fucking. This is where he just loses it on this guy, and he goes and he just like grabs him. I mean, you tell this part of the story because
So like, yeah, he got in the guy's face and he was just like, "How dare you disrespect my comics like that?" And then like, he's like, "Fucking, how dare you? This is a fucking comedy club." And the guy's like, "It's not a comedy club." He's like, "When I'm to have a show here, it's a goddamn comedy club." And then like the guy was like, "Fuck you!" He's like, "Fuck me, fuck me!" And it was just like really in his face. Yeah, just like it was so loud. And then the bouncer comes and grabs Krangus.
while I'm on stage, the promoter and our host gets thrown out of the show by the bouncer
Yeah.
for trying to calm the crowd.
And I like, he's just like, "Sorry, boys."
I don't. Krangus seemed like he was pretty close to decking this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It turned out it was like a long-standing enemy of his.
Yeah.
Oh, that
like-
makes sense.
Like that
Well,
guy's
also when he's
fucked up.
just like shaking, going, "Fuck me, fuck me." And you go, "Oh, no.
Well, and that guy had yelled like, "Turn on the jukebox." So at that point, I was like, "I just want to take it nice and slow." So I started singing Usher and like beatboxing on
Yeah.
stage, like fucking chaos is breaking out.
This is killing time.
Krangus is like he's a former Marine and kind of looks like it. And this guy that was shouting, "Put the jukebox on," looks kind of like James Corden.
So it seemed like an unfair battle.
Yeah, well, Krangus would have murdered this guy. Yeah.
I mean, maybe he has. We've been gone a few weeks.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll see the local paper and be like, "Krangus killed James Corden."
I like the idea of selling bumper stickers that just says "Death by Krangus."
Oh, man. So yeah, then Bert gets up there and he fucking manages to wrangle him a little bit. But so we determined the nickname for this woman is RB, which is short for rich bitch. Which I have never ever used the word really bitch towards an audience member
Yeah.
on stage, but this woman was a fucking bitch, and the whole crowd was like, "Yeah, she fucking she was so fucking vile and awful." And then
That's where you want Hall & Oates' "Rich Girl" to be the first song that plays when the show is over.
So then we.
I should say during my set, I dealt with her with. I have this piece of crowd work now that I gave them, which was here's my impression of a comic who hasn't been paid before the show. Okay, all right, you guys settle down now. Settle down. Okay, here's my impression of a comic who has been paid before the show, like me. You shut the fuck up. Listen to me, you stupid piece of shit. Shut your fucking idiot mouth. Shut your goddamn mouth. No, shut up. Shut up.
Well, and then he coined her as RB.
Yeah, and I also told her too, like she made some comment of being like no one would want to fuck me, and I was like, "You'll fuck me." And she was like, "What?" And I was like, "People that fucking do what you do at comedy shows make tons of bad decisions." And fucking me is one of them.
And then when he said that to her, she seemed interested after that. And then for a second there, I was like, "Holy shit, is Bret gonna fuck RB?"
Yeah. Well, that's what happens when someone with that amount of money has never been talked to like that.
Yeah. It totally she kind of stopped for a second and just kind of like looked at me, being like, "What the hell?"
Yeah. You think your alpha behavior is more than my bank account?
Yeah. Well, then after the show, like her friends authentically enjoyed the show, even though they were too drunk and disruptive to really like be a good audience.
There was times when they were on board though, and there was moments of clarity.
Oh, and they all covered their mouth when Zach called her a rich bitch. They're like,
Oh, that's the we told you.
And then they come up to us after the show because they buy Bert's like, "You guys fucked the show up. You all have to buy merch."
Yeah, no, I told him, I was like, "If you enjoyed the show, please buy a t-shirt. And if you did everything you could to fuck up the show, please buy 2 t-shirts." And they did. They bought tons of merch. It was great.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
And they came over and they're like, "Yeah, hey, thanks for telling her that. She's new to our friend group and we all fucking hate her."
Whoa.
And they're like, "We're all going to call her RB now."
So RB's her nickname. And while this is all happening, we're having a good time. She comes over and she goes, "Fuck this place. Fuck these guys. I'm going downtown. who's coming with me? And then she stormed out of the bar.
And no one left.
And no one left.
Yeah. But then she came back and she's like, no one's coming.
Oh, that's the best. She pulled the Jerry Maguire and no one took off.
Yeah, no one
Oh, man.
I love it. In a few weeks, this could happen. Hey, we should get food. You want to get some lunch? Where should we go? I don't know. I'm thinking Arby's.
So, yeah, dude, all in all, Brett and I's favorite show.
Yeah?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, because for us, we were having fun. I hadn't had a show like that. I mean, I feel like when you start, that's almost all your shows, but I hadn't had one of those in a while. So it was fun to battle the crowd and just, you know.
Well, it's also
we
a
each
moment-
did 5 minutes of jokes in our 40-minute sets. It was all
Well, because you get to that point where you go, well, I mean, the bar is so low right now.
Oh, yeah. Well, and the promoter, when I'm going up there, he goes, hey, man, if you just want to do 10 minutes and get off, that's fine. And I was like, oh, no.
I'm going to do my time.
I'm going to war.
I asked Zach, I was like, "Want me to bring you a shot when you're on stage?" And he's like, 3.
And Bert did. I drank 3 shots during that set.
I think Zach brought me 2, which is just like, I don't know. There's a certain point where there's that level of chaos being like, oh, it's chaos you want? I'll bring the chaos.
Yeah. So, yeah, and then we went out and had a fun rest of the night hanging out with Krangus. And
I like the idea also when you told Krangus, you're like, I'm going to war. Like his eyes got a little weird and he just rips his sleeve off, shows you a tattoo, and he goes, I've been there.
You think a man named Krangus had sleeves?
So the next day, we go eat some lunch, and we're sitting there, and how did the guy? Oh, there was a guy there with like a Vietnam shirt on, and Krangus was like, he was a Marine or whatever, and Krangus was like, oh yeah, I was in the blah blah blah, and they just kind of did a little thing, and we're hanging out just eating, and then this guy, this Vietnam vet comes over and proceeds to just tell us the most insane fucking war story I've ever heard in my life.
Just like of his best friends getting vaporized by artillery shells and shit like that.
Yeah, like he's like, I'm trying to go for my buddy, and then artillery hit him, and he was just gone, just like nothing.
And he's telling me like it was like a mundane story.
Oh yeah, and then he's like, and then I got shot, and then you know, and then they took me out on the boat, and I was like, oh, I'm going home, and they were like, no, you're going out on the medical boat, so that always means that they're just going to patch you up and send you back. And he's like, and that was like the conclusion of the story was like, I just watched all my friends get killed, got shot, and had to get patched up
and sent back in.
He was going through his own therapy with us.
Yeah.
It's something he needed to like get off his chest.
It's one of those things like when people tell those stories, sometimes you're like, oh, this is exciting to kind of hear this stuff.
It was horrific.
Well, that's what happens. Like when they're telling you the story and you're going, oh man, you're reliving it. Like you're never leaving that. There was a guy that we used to live next door to that he was a tunnel rat in Vietnam. So he would like sneak through the tunnels real slow and then just grab people and cut their throats. And he goes, if you made noise, he goes, they were going to get rid of you. And I was like, hey, I gotta go.
Well, no, I had a teacher when I was doing a bit about this for a while, but he was a ranger in Vietnam, and he would tell us, I mean, he was a sniper, so what he would do is he'd be alone in the jungle, he'd go shoot like an officer in the Viet Cong, and he'd have dug a hole like a mile back, he'll run to the hole, lay down in the hole, and then stay in the hole for 4 days, and he's like, yeah, guards would just walk on top of me. He's like, the Viet Cong would be combing the jungle looking for the sniper, and he's like, they'd walk right on top of me and shit, and then he'd tell stories like, yeah, one day we walked into a village, and he's telling the class this. This is like the class. He's standing up, and he's like, one day we walked into a village, and yeah, I mean, we mowed down all those women and children because, you know, we just couldn't risk them giving up our position. And you're going to be learning a lot about risk management here in Business 101.
Yeah, I love the idea of like someone going, I don't like this dodgeball. Oh, you think the dodgeball hurt?
Yeah, well, and then we like went to have a smoke because the classes used to be 3 hours long, and you'd get like 2 breaks during them where you could go have a smoke, get some water, piss, or whatever. And I went out for the smoke, and I was like, did he just tell us a fucking war crime? Pretty sure he just told us about a fucking war crime. Like, what the fuck?
A mass murder.
Yeah, what the fuck, man?
And it's then did you tell him like, you think you've seen some shit? We've played the juke joint.
Yeah. Well, and then Krangus.
Have you seen RB?
Well, yeah.
We got nothing on Charlie.
There's Arby's in the trees.
But yeah, man, it was wild. Yeah, and then Krangus was like, "Yeah, I got in a firefight. Usually piss yourself. Nobody talks about that."
Oh yeah.
Like fuck. So yeah, lunch was real as fuck, and made me be like, you know what, the juke joint really wasn't that bad.
Dude, I had a friend have a grizzly bear come up on him, and for some reason I thought he was joking, and I kind of forgot about this until you brought it up. But he goes, yeah. He goes, when you bear spray a bear and they're that close to you, he goes, you shit yourself. And I was like, okay. And then now I'm like, oh no, he probably really did that.
Yeah.
Oh,
my
yeah.
God.
No, a grizzly bear too?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was
And it's close enough for you to spray, charging you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then it probably burns your eyes terribly too, just from being. I was at a party once in college where there's kind of a big fight broke out.
Fuck me! Fuck me!
And there's like these, there's like these gangster kids that got into they were fighting up front, and then there's these gangster kids. They pepper sprayed like the whole fucking party.
Oh.
And then ran and got into their car. And there's a guy in the back of the truck, and they had like a case of Bud Light bottles back there, and the guy was whipping them full bottles into the party. One of my buddies got hit like right in the chest, dude. But my other buddy was kind of watching this from the outside, and he saw this whole thing going on. And he's like, "Oh yeah," and he just like picked up a brick and kind of moved to where they were driving and threw it right through the fucking front window of the fucking truck. And when he threw it through the windshield, the fucking guy hit the brakes, and the guy throwing bottles out of the back flew out of the back of the truck. Their other friends that were chasing him fucking ran him over. They fucking hopped out, picked up his crumpled body, threw him in the truck, and drove off. And
Jesus
you're
Christ.
like, party on!
I was hoping someone was just going to catch a beer and say thanks.
Oh no, then we did. We picked up all the beers that didn't break that they threw and drank them, and fucking yeah.
Wow.
That was
your Vietnam.
Yeah, that was that was one. But fun stories. But yeah, so then we went back to New Orleans, and then that's when I fell through the
wow.
through the shower.
Okay.
And then we took it easy the next night. Is there any more good? Oh, there was a cardiology.
Oh shit.
There's a few stories from when we went back. So, also in New Orleans, before we went to Mississippi, we're eating burgers in this place, and I'm paying, and the woman goes, "Hey, I just want to let you know that the place where you're going in Missouri is safe for people like you."
They still think you're gay.
She thought I was gay, and then and she told me, she's like, "Yeah, I went through Mississippi with one of my gay friends, and every bar we went into, I kissed him just so that he wouldn't get murdered there." And I was like,
and you're like, you think this will work the same if I kiss him?
Well, what I'm just thinking is I'm like, man, the South is a fucked up place.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you this, in Mississippi, for that show, I wore a fucking T-shirt. And I mean, but that's fucked up. It's so fucked up that, like, to think that, like, maybe just because I'm wearing a straight guy wearing a shirt people could think is gay, that somebody could fucking try and, like, it made me realize how, I never really thought about how dangerous it is to just be fucking gay.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, man, if they assumed that about you and it triggered something, all they had to figure out is where your car was, where you were staying, and yeah, I mean, they could have fucked your car up. Tour would have been over.
Oh yeah, there's so many weird. It's just fucking. I don't know. Made me sad.
Appreciate being gay in the city.
Yeah, the South really is like just these bastions of little safe havens. Like, you know, like if I had a gay son in the South, I'd be like, we got to get to New Orleans right away.
Yeah.
Don't leave that city. Stay right there.
And where'd you go from Memphis?
We went from Memphis to New Orleans to Mississippi, back to New Orleans, and then.
Oh wait, so is Mississippi or Memphis where you had the T-shirt
on? Mississippi.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we went to Tallahassee.
But fun thing about
Tallahassee,
New
Florida
Orleans
would have been okay to wear that shirt.
Fun thing about New Orleans, when we were there was a massive convention of cardiologists.
Oh, right.
Okay.
And we're in this fucking bathroom at 4 a.m. taking a piss, and there's these guys that are like just openly doing coke in the bathroom, and they're like, "Do you want some coke?" And I was like, "Nah, I don't." I was like,
We know what it takes to get a heart going.
Well, I was also just like fentanyl, and I don't know. I'm kind of over that shit.
I think you're like, I don't want anything that hasn't been tested or that I don't know about. And they're like, we don't know about it either.
And then they go, you'll never guess what we do. And I was like, you're fucking cardiologists. And they're like, oh my God, how do you know?
Because you're my doctor.
Yeah.
And then I gave them, we made these keychains for the tour.
Oh my God. How perfect was that?
Oh yeah, that just have a pile of cocaine that says tools in it. And then, you put your keys on there because a key is a cocaine tool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was like, here's a cocaine tools keychain that like blew their mind. And then we got out of there.
But yeah, next night in Tallahassee, show was pretty good.
Yeah, we were at Bird's Aphrodisiac Oyster Shack in Tallahassee.
Yeah.
But man,
it was packed.
we got there and we're like, oh, Tallahassee, that's probably kind of a safe city. We look it up. It's like one of the highest crime rates in the country.
Oh, dude, it was the most.
The Pueblo of Florida?
Yeah, it was the deepest south we went to in this tour. It was like,
Okay.
oh, this is next level. This is fucking.
Yeah.
My
So it felt rural?
Oh.
Yeah. No, it felt more like Pueblo. It felt like a shitty small city.
Yeah, where they had a meth problem.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, it was funny too because they were like, yeah, we're getting ready to have all the. There's a lot of cocaine coming in the city right now because the state Congress and senators are getting ready to meet and all the lobbyists and believe it or not, all those people that tell you shouldn't do drugs, they love them. They do them all the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but that show was really fucking good. What was notable to me about that show was that we had 4 openers, and the most experienced one had been on stage like 5 times.
Really?
Yeah.
And they all did
Well,
okay.
Yeah.
Good enough. I was pretty impressed. Like, and one of them, a few of them were very funny.
really?
For like where I could be like, oh, in a year or two, you're gonna have a killer 10.
We're like, where are you guys? What are you doing?
Well, they have a arts theater school there, so all these kids were in the theater program, so they were creatives. And I
Okay.
feel like if you're one kind of artist, it usually helps you transfer over to another kind of art just because your brain's used to working that way, maybe a
Yeah.
little. But they were part of the. They do Friday Night Live on campus, where it's like their version of SNL. So then when they found out that Bert works on SNL and shit, they got all fucking
Cheesed up.
oh, they were super pumped. What?
Shit.
So-
You know what? We're gonna start wearing paisley.
Yeah, no. Whenever I was talking to one, and I'd be like, "All right, we've talked long enough." I'd be like, "Hey, that guy works on SNL." Sing him on Bert.
Do you know Pete Davidson? Do you know Pete Davidson?
But yeah. So we get out of there, and we're like, "Oh, we'll just get out of the city." And I'm a fan of cheap hotels. Wyndhams are usually pretty nice,
Yeah.
but we get one.
Well, yeah, Zach picks it and he's just like, oh, these are always nice hotels.
Did you look at the pictures online?
No.
Oh yeah, you should have done that.
Well, no, I knew he should have done that, but I looked at it somewhat, and I was like, 2.5. It's a Wyndham.
Also, if you could have maybe just leave Tallahassee.
Yeah,
Well-
that would have been a good call.
Well, so we go and we get to the hotel and we're like, fuck, it's next to a Waffle House. Shit.
A Waffle House in the South, the pecan waffle, is fucking amazing.
Oh, the Waffle House food is not. I'm not going to shit on that at all.
Yeah, but I mean,
there's a kind
something...
of clientele that the Waffle
Yeah.
House attracts. And the clientele that I saw kind of, I would say, moving aimlessly around the parking lot, scratching both of their
yeah.
arms, was like, oh, we might be in Cracktown.
Yeah, they're gumming down waffles.
Oh, we were in Cracktown for sure.
So we get our room, we go into our room, and we're like, we need to check this place for bed bugs. And immediately starting to check for bed bugs, we find some roaches.
Okay.
And then Brett goes, are you good at sleeping with the lights on? Oh my God. So then we start looking at the beds and we're like,
We're still on the fence.
we found what could have been maybe a little bed bug sign, but it wasn't like anything crazy. But then as we're doing that, a crack pipe rolls out from under the mattress.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was between the mattress and the box spring.
Like someone hid their precious cracky there.
Yeah.
And
And at that point, I was just kind of like, dude, if we get bed bugs in a hotel that we found a crack pipe, we deserve it.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
like,
We
gotta
chose to
go.
stay.
so we go down and Bert's like, yeah, crack pipe, roaches, we got to go. The
Yeah.
guy's like, I'll move you to another room. He's like, nah.
No. At this point, we're moving on down the road.
Yeah. So we moved on down the road and just got, what was that, a Quality Inn? The King Suite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
A lot of times if you go with choice privilege, so quality ins, sleep ins, usually pretty good.
well, I've had great experiences with Wyndham being on the cheaper end. This is just a Wyndham next to a Waffle House.
Yeah.
That was a problem.
Yeah.
It's the Waffle Inn.
It was a 5-star hotel, then the Waffle House got right next to it. Oh, we saw like guys like smoking crack in the parking lot too. It was,
Oh yeah, there's people smoking crack in their cars in the parking lot. So there's like a dealer in the hotel that was then dealing to people that were then smoking outside. I mean, it reminded me of the meth hotel that I stayed in Albuquerque when I was a rapper. We went on a tour down there and we stayed in this Motel 6 that was like $40, and like there's multiple meth dealers in the hotel. Rats in our room.
Oh,
fucking
that's-
rat, a giant rat in our room. We had to chase it out the door.
I don't like that at all.
And but we were young and we didn't give a fuck. That was before I knew what bed bugs even were. So we stayed there.
Well, yeah,
and
the rat is there eating the bed bugs.
and I was taking a shower and my buddy goes, "Dude, there's people smoking meth right outside the fucking door." So they were pulled right up to our door. They're 2 feet. So I get out of the shower and I just go open the door with a towel around me and I just smash my titties together and I start start dancing. And they're like, "What the fuck?" And they're like freaked out and like just sped out. So I know how to clean these places up.
Yeah. Dude, I was in Fort McMurray, Canada, which is like oil boomtown. And it was like October. And we were at a hotel that was very similar. We were next to a casino, but I was outside and I could see like 5 people at a dumpster. And I didn't know what drug they were doing, but it was crack, meth, something. But one of the guys took his shirt off and just started dancing around. It's October in Canada. And I was like, all right, whatever. Just wiggling and jiggling by the party dumpster.
Wait, what part of Canada?
This is Fort McMurray,
What province? Though?
Alberta.
All right, yeah. I was going to guess Alberta.
Yeah.
So
Or wait, Ontario. Is that Ontario? Alberta, Ontario?
No, Alberta and Ontario are two different provinces.
Okay, yeah. Edmonton, Alberta. That's correct.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so that's where we were.
you've been around quite a few Canadian provinces, haven't you?
I've
Bert?
been to like 5 of them.
Anyways, we get out of there, finally sleep in this thing, and then the next day we got to head to Huntsville, Alabama.
Yeah, Huntsville.
Which, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know what to expect in Huntsville. I think one of my favorite stops on the tour.
Yeah,
Yeah, well-
Alabama's got some fun stuff.
So we had a show booked, and then, like a week or 2 out, the booker called us and was like, "Hey, Shane Moss wants to do like a last-minute show the same night. If I pay you guys the same amount, will you just open for Shane Moss? And we'll move to a bigger venue because he pulls a big crowd." And I was like, "Sure, fine, yeah." And he's like, "We do less time for the same amount of money. I'm totally in."
Yeah. Sounds like a win.
Yeah, after fucking not getting hardly any sleep because we had to move hotels because of crack pipes and roaches and shit.
Yeah.
So
No, it was.
and Shane's fans were so fucking nice, man.
Yeah.
We sold more merch before the show started.
Than we did at any other show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, he's got an interesting. His crowds are pretty wild because I mean they're pretty much. They seem to be on that level. Or a lot of them have money. A lot of them are now like highly into like science, and they're definitely into like psychedelics.
Yeah. So the show is cool. And then afterwards, we went to the end zone, because I'm gay.
Yeah,
And so we go there and we're hanging out having drinks, and Shane and I get this fucking pizza that's just we get extra cheese, and when we get it, they're like, "Ooh, they already come with extra cheese. You guys don't really want to." Like, the pizza comes out and it's maybe the most cheese I've ever seen
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
on a pizza. And we open it and I'm like, "Oh my god." And I started eating it, and we met these there's another comic that was hanging out. She didn't perform that night, but she was hanging around, and then one of her, I don't know, just a friend of theirs, I think, that because everybody hangs out at this bar or whatever. Was it Jess and Raina or whatever?
Yeah, Jessa and Raina.
And so Jess is like, "You're not going to shit for a week." And I'm like, "You know what? You're right." I just walk out to my car and grab my big jar of fiber. And I bring it in. I just start dumping fiber in my beer. And at this point, Bert is pretty over the way that I travel.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, can we address that for a second?
Yeah, what's this about?
Zach doesn't own a suitcase.
Oh, is it just a backpack and random things?
Yeah, he travels with a backpack and then a series of cardboard boxes that are barely holding together. Plastic bags and jugs. Whenever we check into a hotel, like I've got like a rolling bag and a nice backpack, and I've got everything there. And then Zach has to make like 4 trips, all with arms full of like loose clothes. Like he's got a cardboard box full of fiber, those like week-long like pill sorters, a bunch of toilet paper, and clothes.
You can't trust hotel toilet paper. I brought my own for the whole trip.
Dude, we were staying. I will give you that a lot of nice hotels have garbage toilet paper. But all that stuff will fit in a suitcase. But yeah.
Well, no, and I had olive oil and vinegar in there and some seasonings.
Bananas.
What about
a hotel like that?
What about my pickle jar full of vitamins?
And then I had and Bert would be like, yeah, I was, because normally he was drinking, so I was driving, and so I'd be parking the car while he'd be pulling the bags because we'd load up a cart or whatever, and be like, yeah, met some hot chicks, but they saw your fucking tea jug. And
Oh, yeah, I was flirting with some fucking hot fucking hotel clerk. And then I just had to be like, oh, yeah, and see these boxes and tea jugs, they're mine. It's the whitest trash thing ever, and I couldn't explain it to Zach, being like, dude, it's like, I told him too when he went to go argue about the shower door. He's like, you gonna bring your box and your jug down?
Well, yeah, and then when we moved rooms, I was like, we gotta move this box and jug quick before they see it.
All right, so I have like 20 more minutes. I gotta take off.
So then we hop on the road to Savannah. And nothing happened there.
Nothing happened in Savannah whatsoever. The first thing that happened in Savannah is we went to this terrible restaurant, and this is Zach's story, because there were some kids sitting behind him talking, and I didn't hear any of it, or barely any of it, and then he broke it all down for me.
They had just graduated high school like the last year, and they're like,
trying to figure out what they're going to do with their lives.
But these were the dumbest fucking kids I've ever heard in my life. Like, one of them's like, he's like, yeah, man, I got a squirrel in my backyard, and I'm just going to shoot him with the 22. And the other guy's like, dude, you can't just do that. There's people behind your house. Like that bullet will go through the fence. They travel a long ways. And I was like, thank God that one kid's there. And I was like, this is like the best argument against gun ownership that I've ever fucking heard. Is like, literally, this guy has a gun. He's about ready to start bucking off shots at squirrels. But thank God one of the 3 is smart enough to know that you can't fucking do that.
Didn't he say the phrase, that's how bullets work?
Yeah, he goes, that's how bullets work.
Ain't you not know no science?
Oh, God. And then the other kid goes, man, I don't know. I think we could like go up to Alaska and we could all like go fishing up in Alaska. And he's like, just imagine it now. Me coming back from Alaska with a beard.
I like the idea of like, you're talking about a fishing trip, but what he's trying to catch is a beard.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he's like, what made me laugh so hard is it was like in his head almost, he's like, well, I ain't got one because it's warm where I'm from, but if I go up where it's cold, then I'm going to grow a beard.
Like at his graduation party, you're like, what are your plans for after high school? I'm thinking about going to Alaska and growing a beard.
And then what are you going to do? I'm going to come back and blow minds.
Well, and then, God, what was that place called? Carrie Ellen's or something? Or
Carrie... I almost called it Carrie Mulligan's.
It was so bad though. Like our waiter, he was a nice guy. He was a steamboat captain.
As everyone in Savannah is.
Yeah, but steamboat Tom was slow, on the paddle boats. So he starts telling us all this shit, and he goes, yeah, this restaurant's been around for 60 years. They haven't changed a single thing in the recipes in 60 years. And Bert and I just go look at each other like, fuck, this is going to be so bad.
Oh, yeah. It was such a grandpa restaurant. It's a place your grandpa would like.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But.
God, and the soup that I got this crab chowder, and there's as much shells of crab in there as crab. It was so fucking gross. Oh, my God.
So we had this show in Savannah, and it was also chaotic, not quite Mississippi level chaotic. It was at a punk rock bar. So it's kind of one of those deals, too, like when the host and the promoter were like apologizing for the crowd and like, oh, I'm sorry. It's like, dude, this is a show at a punk rock bar. Like all this, none of this stuff is really out of what I expected.
Yeah, it was like doing a show at Three Kings,
Yeah, yeah. And it's like you had like, I'd say 2/3 of the crowd were into the show, but then 1/3 of it were not. And but I had a one-of-a-kind heckler experience which is I had a guy heckle me. He heckled Zach a little bit too, but his thing was he wanted to guess your punchlines. Like, you know that type, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But here's the thing is like, if he like thought he knew what the punchline was, even after you did it, he would try to interrupt you to tell you that he knew that one.
Oh, so you'd hit the punchline and he's like, had that one.
But he'd also try to yell out what he thought it was when Bert was trying to deliver it.
Yeah. And so like, I was built up for one joke and he like yelled over it. And I was just like, oh yeah, you know what? These jokes usually go over when someone can't fucking tell the structure of a joke and fucking yells over the funny part. And he was just kind of
Bert got mad.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I like
man,
it.
Bert.
Mad.
I kept it pretty funny, but there was one point where I lost my temper, which you
Fuck me.
you can't lose your temper on stage as a comic. Like,
Oh,
I've
AJ
done
knows. I've seen AJ do it, dude. But I've seen AJ scare the shit out of a crowd, not get a laugh for 20 minutes, end up doing an hour and a half, and fucking they love him by the end. But like,
There is rebuilding that has to happen.
oh,
after
that
you
bowling
lose your
alley
shit.
show that we did in Vail, you yelled at somebody right early on in that
yeah.
show. And
wait,
then,
was it Eagle?
Yeah.
In my hometown?
Yeah.
Dang.
I can't remember what happened, but yeah, it definitely had a snap, and then we had to put it back together.
Yeah, this was a very brief snap. Like I was doing, my crowd work was good for that show, and so I was feeling it. But at one point, I just fucking was just like, because he was wearing a Dodgers outfit, which is so easy to get the crowd to turn on a Dodgers fan in Atlanta.
Yeah.
A bunch of Braves fans. I was like, oh, you don't stand a chance. But I made some comment of being like Dodgers is a term for people that would dodge a train, like on their way to the game, like the trains came through and they would dodge it last minute. That's how the fans got their name, the Dodgers. And I was like, you are because he's like, I used to live in Brooklyn back when they were the Brooklyn Dodgers. And I was like, you're such a die-hard fan that you were around when you got the name of dodging trains and you couldn't see a fucking punchline coming. And and so like I kind of like got in with him, you know, and then when I got off stage, he came and confronted me, and I was just like, I'm sorry I went so hard on you, dude. Like, you just totally stepped on one of my best punchlines and fucked it up. And he's just like, well, he's like, I wasn't heckling, I was interacting. And I was like, anytime you talk during a comedy show, unless the comic asks you a question, is heckling. And he's like, no, it's not. And he's like, it's your fault for engaging. That's not how you do comedy. And I was like, have you ever done comedy? And he's like, no. And I was like, I've been doing comedy for 14 years. Why are you telling me how to do it? And he just gets all frustrated and goes, well, someone needs to. And then he stomped off.
Well, and then he came and talked to me and he's like, yeah, your buddy needs to get to the funny faster.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And then I end up, there's mushrooms involved again. I end up talking to Sandy Colfax.
Oh, yeah.
Bert eats some mushrooms, and then by the
Sandy
end of the night,
Colfax?
they're fucking friends, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but Zach like forces us to have like a fucking peace treaty. He like, brings us together. He's like, we're smoking weed, and this would have never happened if I wasn't on mushrooms.
Come on now, boys. Let's come together and share a little bit of fiber
It's
beer.
the magic of mushrooms. Because after he was just like, someone needs to teach you how to do comedy. I was like, all right, fuck you. I tried to apologize a little bit.
With the fuck or the you?
But like, yeah, so I had no interest in kind of like, you know, mending our fucking broken relationship. But I was on mushrooms, and so I guess I was very open to the idea. But like, we started smoking weed, and Zach was just like, this guy's wearing a Sandy Colfax jersey, which I think I made some comment to, being like, you're not Sandy Colfax, you're too old. What are you, Cy Young? And he was an old man too. But yeah, also he had no idea that I was from Colorado and now lived in Brooklyn, which is like, that's my whole fucking act.
Right.
Like, you didn't listen to anything, and
Which he was from Denver and had lived in Brooklyn. Like,
Yeah.
basically, this was Bert 30 years from now.
Yeah, and so we started talking.
Yeah, the wormhole's a weird place. Bert came from the future and heckled him.
We started talking about the Denver Bears, which was an old minor league team in Denver. And then we started like bonding. And Zach has pictures of us shaking like fucking
like politicians.
like General Custer and Sitting Bull.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was. I'd never had that experience with a heckler where like it went bad, and then after the show it went worse, and then somehow someone made a peace treaty between the two.
Yeah, usually you get mad,
Yeah.
you split, And you just hope they're not in the parking lot.
No, I was just like, dude, fucking, what you need to do is go to Ocean Springs. There's a girl sitting there alone named RB.
He's like, you mean my daughter?
She wasn't razzing you, was she? I told her not to heckle. Just yell out punchlines.
Oh, all right. How many more stories do we have from this? Zach's got a chill ass mojo.
What? What the fuck does that mean?
So we go to Charleston and we're heading into Atlanta, and I go into the gas station, and I'm wearing what I'm wearing right now. Actually,
It's just pajama pants and a hoodie
with Crocs, and I have
no shirt on.
It's the exact
And you have a North
outfit.
Dakota.
Oh my god, I do.
Trucker
I have it
hat.
on. Oh jeez, my hair just got stuck in the. What the hell?
Oh my God! Dude. Zach is tangled in his headphones. It is chaos.
Literally, it's like don't talk about
chaos.
the mojo. Don't talk about the mojo.
The Mississippi show is smoother than this.
Yeah, so I'm wearing this, and I walk in.
I think we're in aviators too, maybe.
Yeah, well, and this woman, there's a line for the women's room. She's waiting outside, and as I walk up, she just goes, "Damn, you got a chill ass mojo." And I just started blushing, and I was like, "Thank you." I tried to get food at Taco Bell next to this gas station. We sat there for 20 minutes. And then I was like, fuck this. There's a grocery store across the street. I go and I get everything for groceries. I go to check out, and there's 40 people in line for one teller. I'm like, fuck this. And Bert had already gotten food at this gas station. So we just go back there, and I go order.
Quick Trips, guys. I highly recommend it.
Oh, Quick Trip's the best.
Yeah, fucking rules.
You know, we're getting them in Denver.
Are we?
Or we're getting them in Colorado. There's two now.
We saw one in Eastern Colorado. Yeah, it was great. It's just like you walk in, there's a touch screen, you can just customize your own sandwich.
There's one in Denver now on 40th.
Yeah, there's also one leaving on I-70, I think.
Yeah,
it's like a Wawa.
It makes me, it reminds me of like Subway when it was cheap. You can get a great sandwich for $7,
it's so much
and it's
better
better.
than Subway, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, the cleanest bathrooms typically.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and they have just like fucking like someone standing outside, like telling you that you have a chill ass mojo, making you feel like the coolest fucking dude in the world. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah,
It feels so fucking cool.
It's so weird. Like Marciana, when she found out that Quick Trip was coming to Colorado, she got so excited. She's like, I would never wear like a gas station shirt, but I'd wear a Quick Trip shirt, maybe even a hat.
I've never thought about which gas stations I would represent.
Yeah, usually people just go with the come and go, but
yeah, right. Come and Go is very popular. Sam would sell Come and Go as merch, like Come and Go lighters and shirts. Like he would buy them while he was on the road, and then go to areas that didn't have Come and Goes, and everyone thought it was the funniest thing ever.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
Yeah, it's not bad. So my bathroom, my gas station bathroom experience was we stopped at this place in was it Southern Missouri?
Yeah, that's Southern Missouri.
Where at?
Somewhere between Fayetteville and Kansas City. We pull in this gas station, and I gotta pee really bad. And this little fucking kid gets in the bathroom right before me. And I'm like, ah, damn it. And so I'm standing outside the door waiting for him. And then I just start kind of like, it's just me waiting for him. And so I'd start wandering around the gas station, kind of like, what sort of purchases will I make when I'm done with this pee? And then I'm on the opposite side of the gas station, and I see the kid come out, and I'm like, oh, and I start running towards the bathroom. And this man darts in. This man, I don't know if dart's the right word. He's about 350 pounds.
He
big bushy
ambles?
beard.
He ambles in?
Big. I could have ran in front of him, but if it would have felt rude. But he opened the door and just beelined it to the bathroom, and he just kind of like shuffles there. Big bushy beard, Coke bottle glasses.
Giant torso.
Oh yeah, he's 350 pounds. And it's all belly. Like he's not a portion at 350.
Tiny little legs.
Yeah. And he goes in the bathroom just before me, and I'm like, damn it. Oh, I missed my window. And then I didn't know how much of a fucking bullet I almost dodged. But
start hearing a bunch of clanking around.
Yeah, so first, like, you hear, like, the toilet, like either someone either opens up.
What, is that the toilet sound?
There's a toilet sound. you hear the toilet seat either open or close, and then a flush. And then you hear it either open or close again, like another clank.
Oh, no, it's
and
broke.
then another flush. And then you hear him go, brah!
What?
Meanwhile, you can just
Where's
hear
that monster voice?
You can just hear.
No,
That's it. That was it. Oh my God! How do you guys have that? Meanwhile, Meanwhile, just splashing and whatnot. And
Dude, he is shitting so hard, I can hear the toilet self-flushing. Like, have you ever dumped like a bucket of water down a toilet? It sounded like I could hear him flushing the toilet with his shit prowess.
And I only heard the very start of it, and right away I was like, I am not waiting for this. And the ladies' room was open, and I was like, I'm going to ladies' room. And so I go in the ladies' room, but Zach sit outside, and he's like, it only got worse.
Yeah, it's just like, he's like kind of screaming a little bit. He's like, I don't know if that guy came out of there.
Just literally yelling, "Do not eat flaming Cheetos!"
And Zach had to pee too.
Yeah, but I'm like, I'm never going in that room ever. Yeah. Like, I hope I like wanted to warn the cashier, like, fucking light this half of the store on fire before you lose the whole thing.
You're gonna have to burn this place. Burn it with him in it.
And then I come out of the ladies' room, and of course there's a fucking girl standing there waiting to go in. And she like smiles at me like she was like laughing, and I'm just kind of like, oh, it's just. I try to be like, oh, she thinks I'm cute, and I'll just shrug and do like a cute face.
Yeah, I'm like, no, she just heard that guy murdering the bathroom.
The guy murdering the bathroom the whole time. She had no interest.
At that point, they're like, we know why you're in here. It's okay.
So I go across the street, and I walk in, and this woman, she goes, hello! How we doing?
What the
fuck? Well, I'm pretty sure this woman had some pig DNA, like that pig man in Seinfeld.
Yeah, because I came back to the car, and Zach was just sitting in the car. And I was like, did you go? And he's like, no, we got to go across the street. And I don't think it's that bad. He's like, oh, it got so much worse.
Like, you could hear, like, after he flushed the toilet, you could hear the shit flying down in the bowl, flying up the sides and slapping that guy's butt cheeks as he was screaming, dude. It was...
That guy came out, he was 150 pounds.
Oh my God, I totally saw it. I can imagine him deflating.
Well, dude, and then we're making our last quick trip stop in Kansas before we get on the road. And I go in the bathroom there. This guy walks behind me when I'm at the urinal, and he goes in, and he's just like, he's another big boy. But he goes in, he's like, oh, Lordy, oh, Lordy, oh, Lordy. And then he sits down, and he just starts doing the same shit, just blowing it up. But as he's firing, he's going, golly, oh, golly. I'm just like, dude, what the fuck? You guys need to get your diets under control. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, every shit I heard in those 2 states, it sounded like it was fucking killing the person taking it. Like... oh, golly, golly, oh, golly.
Say what you will about the safety of the gay community in Mississippi, but the safety of gas station bathrooms is in danger in Missouri and Kansas.
Well, and then we had Atlanta was fucking awesome. So we went and did Laughing Skull, and the fun thing at the Laughing Skull was at the open mic the night before, a new comic got up and just straight pissed herself on stage.
What?
Yeah.
Legitimately?
They played the footage for Zach in the green room. I was out and about.
Well, she's so drunk. She sounded like she was the aunt of that pig lady in the fucking bat. She's like, well, out here, and and then like she had some friends in the crowd, and she was so drunk. She's like stumbling around the stage like she
and then
can't
she
fall.
just peed?
And one of her friends said something. She's like, oh, girl, you don't go say that. You're going to make me piss myself. And then she came up, and you could just see the piss spot like start to spread.
Oh, my God.
And then she said the N-word. And the host is like, yeah, she said the N-word, so I lit her. Because she's over her time.
Not because she said the N-word, but she had disrespected the light.
Was that Bob that was hosting that?
No.
No.
But no, and then we stayed at Ian Aber with him and his husband Payne. They were fucking awesome.
They were great to us.
Yeah, it was so fun and good hang. And I don't know. I think we're out of time, but we probably do have another like 30 minutes of stories.
We do. We told the good ones.
Yeah. We told a lot of the good ones. Shout out also to the scene in Springdale, Arkansas. Stetson and Steph.
Yeah, Steph Bright.
For putting us up, because the one problem we did have with the car, we drove the car over 5,000 miles on this trip. Right when we were pulling into their place, the fucking wheel started shaking like something was wrong.
No.
But how lucky we were is they live right above a fucking shop.
An auto shop, yeah. Like that fixes farm equipment.
Yeah, so I pulled my car in, and we figured out that Les Schwab hadn't tightened my fucking lug nuts when I left.
wow.
And it ended up being something minor that we just had to tighten the lug nuts.
Yeah.
But what was interesting...
I really was hoping that you were like, they work on farm equipment. Luckily, we've been traveling on a tractor.
We drove home in a combine.
Thank God we were country boys.
But I had to run around. We had to get, because someone stole my lug nut key before we left. So, like,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
so we needed to find one. We had to go to this tire shop where I got to pet a tiny little baby goat that was cute. But what I also saw is that this town, I don't even know what town that was. It's just some random little town in Missouri where
Anderson.
in between,
Anderson, Missouri, I think.
Anderson. But their cops there have the fucking Thin Blue Line Punisher logo painted on their fucking cars.
What?
Yeah, dude.
Dude, that's wild.
The Punisher, who hates cops.
Yeah, the Punisher who kills corrupt cops. Well, and I'm laughing with Steph about this in the morning, and she goes, yeah, well, if hypocrisy was going to stop him.
Oh, shit.
Well, Brett, thanks for stopping by and hanging out and sharing the stories. Zach, it's great to have you back.
Yeah, man, and there's a lot more to this, but yeah, we'll figure it out. Thanks so much for listening. Follow, subscribe, and we do have our contest going on that you saw at the very beginning of the episode. So make sure and go follow so you can.
Yeah, if you like,
so you can win them booms and them ticks and them nugs.
If you like Dead and Company, make sure and stop by because we're giving away 2 tickets for the last show.
When do I find out if I'm a hippie or not?
Probably the next episode we do.
All right.
I really think that we should just solidify this as the stories, and then we'll dive into Bert's life later.
Yeah. Thanks so much for listening, everybody. And remember to get on the motherfucking
bus.
My butt.
Oh, my God.